Hey everybody, tonight at the Lookout Lodge we're making bread, the easy way, our way. We make bread almost every day. It is not complicated. It is not something that you need any fancy tools for, any kind of fancy bread science, okay? Very simple, everyday ingredients, and if you want to feed your family the cheap way, pay attention. I do this, like I said, almost every day. So, when I'm sitting around watching other people's YouTube videos and, you know, whatnot, I do things that try to cut the time down a little bit. 6 cups of flour. If you want to know the ingredients, I really don't know a lot about making videos. I don't have a ton of time and skills to make, you know, ingredient lists and whatnot. Use your pause button, alright? But 6 cups of flour. No more, no less. No, you know, floured surfaces or nothing, because I found out that when you use more than 6 cups of flour, the bread sucks. When you use less, again, it's no good. This is our way. You can make it your way and use a bread machine. You can follow another recipe if you like. Be my guest. I'm just trying to show everyone what we do here to make bread. It's real easy. I've also found that the amount of water that you need is 2 1/4 cups of water. Works out to be almost the same as a typical water bottle. Now all the bread scientists out there that know, I said almost. It's not quite. You always have 1 sip left over if you use your measuring cup, which I don't, because this is simple, fast, everyday ingredients. This isn't bread flour, if you could still see me. Hi. If not, there's a microwave over here. Anyways, I microwave the water for 1 minute. Yeast has to have warm, you know, again, the bread scientists out there will be very eager to tell you how you must put it and activate it and put a little sugar and watch it bubble. We don't do that. When you hit number 1 on the microwave, it makes the bread come out good. Okay? There you go. Anyways, the other ingredients are real simple. You need 2 tablespoons of oil. Regular old oil. Canola oil, vegetable, whatever you want to call it. This is real simple. 1 tablespoon of salt. 2 tablespoons of 3 tablespoons of sugar. 3. So what was it? It was 1 salt, 3 sugar, 2 oil. Yeast. I generally use these packets of yeast. Thanks, honey. I also got a jar of yeast, the kind that you keep in your fridge. Whatever. As long as it's active, dry, whatever, cheap, you know, yeast. There's a ton of different yeasts out there, you know. There's yeast for making booze, yeast for this, yeast for that, bread yeast, whatever. Listen, if it's yeast, okay, and it's in your typical local grocery store bread aisle, pick it up. It's going to work. It'll be fine. You know, like this. Red Star yeast. I mean, I don't see the problem. I've heard a lot of stories about people, you know, you must use this kind of yeast and you must put it in your bowl and you must, you know, listen, that's not really true. Because this is the way we do bread. We eat a couple loaves of bread a day. Very simple stuff. That 1 minute thing on the microwave, that's because, well, you do have to have a certain temperature for yeast. If it's too hot, you'll kill it. If it's too low, it's not going to work. But that 1 minute on my microwave, I'm sure that everyone's is different, wattages and things, you know. You're going to have to play with it. But, you know, it's like 110 degrees, I think. You want it to be around 110 literal degrees. That's what this here thingamajig says it is, because I hit number 1 on my microwave. It works great. Every time. Very, very simple and quick. Ooh, I forgot to grab a whisk. I tried to get everything all together before the video, so it was simple and it wasn't all over the place. But here's the deal. It's all together. I didn't start nothing, activate nothing. There it is. All the stuff to make bread is right here in this one bowl, and I use 2 bowls for a reason. I'll show you in a bit why. All your wet stuff, throw it in. Hey, will you grab me 2 gloves? Throw it in with your flour, your 6 cups. Thank you. And then mix it up. Bread machine, if you got it, good for you. I'm sure it's awesome. I've never used one. I mean, I've seen them before. Never used one. And this literally takes no time. The longest part of this process is the rising, you know, and the cooking. But this is nothing. I figured out after a while, because, you know, there's different, you know, there's cake flour, there's sifting, there's bread flour, there's wheat flour, there's different stuff that the scientists out there, you know, they got it down. You know, Michelle Obama, you know, made whole wheat toast in the schools. You know, there's whole wheat flour, and this is regular white Dollar General flour, okay? If you want to shop somewhere fancy and get fancy flour, be my guest. If you want bread that tastes good, that your family actually likes eating, and you don't have to worry about what's in it, or that it costs $3-something a loaf, there you go. Regular, all-purpose flour. White flour. I can't wait to see the comment. When I started these videos, it's because I watched a lot of videos. And anybody that's on YouTube knows that the comments are the best part of the videos. I cannot wait to read these comments. Everybody's going to be like, that's not how you make bread. You're wrong. Whatever, man. I love it. Everybody in the house loves it. It's cheap. I mean, when you factor in your fuel to cook it, your time, well, what time, you know? Your ingredients, it's like $1 a loaf. You could go to Walmart, you can go to Kroger's, you can go to Food Line, wherever you're from, and you can buy bread for around $1 a loaf. I suppose you could probably, you know, yeah. Now, even if what I'm doing costs the exact same amount of money as it costs to purchase my bread, I did it myself. I know where it come from. It's mine. And that in itself, I think, makes it worth it. Besides, you need to know how to cook bread, okay? If you don't know how to bake bread, that's a fundamental thing. There's some kind of trouble out there on your own type situation. Walmart's closed. There's no more running down to get a loaf of bread. I mean, this is it. This is the staple right here. Corn, potatoes, bread, water. You'll be all right. You know, you could even get up to some of that crazy bread, some of that nice, good Italian bread that's got the seeds on it. Comes in the red and green plastic bag, you know. Italiano something. It's like $3 a loaf. I'm sorry, man. We eat at least a loaf of bread a day in this house. That's over $90 a month for bread? No. Yeah, it'd be nice, but no. Not happening. So this is why I use the two bowls. Do your flour and all that, boom, boom. Now, go right back to this bowl for your rising. Just a dab of oil. There's still a ton of oil in this. You probably can't see because, again, I'm not good at shooting videos. I really don't even know what I'm doing. It might get better. It might get worse. I don't know. But anyways, if you can't see it, just imagine that there's some oil in this other bowl. That's it. Make yourself a nice round dough ball. You know, flip it over. Boom. Throw it in there. Round it up a little bit. Flip it around. Play with it. Have fun with it. Okay? You can slam it down a couple times and watch it move. That's all the bread scientist stuff right there. That's all the science. Throw a thing over it, a cloth. And again, you can't see this either, but I have a proofer over here. What it actually is a beat up old freezer that we use for storing our, non-refrigeratable things. Like our bread and stuff like that. Pizza, which is another simple thing. It doesn't have to be so complicated. Anybody could do this. Trust me, if I'm doing this, anybody could do this. It's very easy. Very, very easy. With just a few simple alterations, and they're just about as simple as you could imagine that they are. Just a few, substitute, olive oil for vegetable oil. Just a few things to make it Italianish, and you're going to have pizza. We'll do that video some other time. We're going to let this dough rise, and then we're going to go to the next step. Until then, see it. Alright, so we're back after rising. The time for rising is usually around an hour, hour and a half. Something like that. Depends on humidity and temperature and other bread science. I do it by the size. When it's double the size that it is when it first goes in, you're good to go. Step 2. Punch it down. Okay? Get all those air bubbles out of your bread. You punch down your dough. Work it a little more. You can hear those, those little air bubbles popping. Get that air out of there. I don't know if you can hear that or not. But that's essentially it. You're just getting those air bubbles out of there. Now you're going to divide it. Let it rise again. Take a nice little ball. Figure out where half is. Where you think it is. We'll go ahead and do that. There's half. That's a loaf. I kind of fold it under to make the top have a flat, perfectly round. When the bread comes out, it's a lot better that way. It's not all cracked up and. Whatever. You get the picture. Make it however you want. Throw it in the bowl. It's still going to come out. It's still bread. But if you want to get fancy, you know, give it a nice round look on top, you know, all uniform, you know. Your pans, now you've divided your loaf into 2 loaves. You want to, I think you do anyway, to tell you the truth, I've never baked bread without grease in the pan. Can you do it? I don't know. You tell me, try it without grease in the pan and then you let me know. I do. I take a coffee filter. You could use a paper towel, use your hand, whatever. You could probably use oil, use butter. I use Crisco because it's what I got, it's what I use. There. There's one pan. A little Crisco on there. I think it's good. This is the way I do it because I read someplace when I first started doing this, greased pan. So I grease the pan. If anything, it seems like it gives it a nice golden crust-like type of feel to it. Something like a crunchy, crispy kind of, I don't know. It's good. You'll love it. You could coat this dough again. You know, you could put it in the bowl, roll it around, give it a nice, you know, grease top or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I just do it like that. Lay it in the pan. Call it a day. That's the point. You know, you get your own bread. It comes out cheap. It's easy and it's fast. You don't want to spend all day touching it. You know? Make it fast there. So we've divided them both. You got to let them hang out again. They got to rise again. Same rule. Double the size. Those will eventually get to be the size of these pans. You know, when it gets double the size, fire up the oven. We'll be back. Here it is. Almost an hour later, they're double the size. See? Encompasses the whole pan. Got that nice top. 35 minutes, 375 degrees, done. We'll show you when it's done. Alright, it's almost done. Just about another minute. And fast, easy, good homemade bread will be done. So just to recap, we use 6 cups of flour. We got 3 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of oil, a tablespoon of salt, 2 1/4 cups of water, a pack of yeast. Grease your pans, even though I don't know why, but I do it. And there's another touch. A little something on top. Butter. There's a lot of recipes out there. Bread is really universal. There's a lot of different flours. There's a lot of different techniques. There's a lot of different things you could do. Like I said, bread machine, this. This is my way. You could put an egg wash on top of your bread before you bake it. Give it like a crust. What's this guy's name? I think it's Steve the Bread Guy. I'm going to try to figure out how to post links and all this in the description. I watch these videos and people, they do this. They have like ingredient lists and whatnot, like a real recipe. I'm going to try to learn. Like I said, this is my first video. I really don't know much about this kind of stuff. I'm computer literate. I can type, but that's about it. I've not really got much into the posting of videos, and I'm going to try to learn. Let me grab this other loaf real quick. And I'll show you just real quick what I do on top. Gives it like a nice little finishing touch, like just a little something on top there. But this is simple. It's like the easiest thing. I do this in between. I'm in and out, you know, working with the animals, doing wood, whatever. Let it rise, come in, work on the bread, put it in the pans, throw it in the oven, watch your clock, come in, work on it, and that's it. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Homemade bread. Thank you.